Yeah, thank you, Shamik, for this wonderful opportunity and AIS for considering our instruction course. So let's start it. Let's start the debate. So the point of debate is whether we should do internal limiting membrane peel in all primary rhegmatogenous retinal detachment where we are doing primary vitrectomy. And I say yes. Of course, we should do ILM peel in every cases of primary detachments if we go in. Well, every one of us know internal limiting membrane is the innermost layer of the retina. Is it a savior that we need to save it? Or is it a devil in disguise? Let's understand that before we debate the question whether we should remove or not. Well, we all accept that the role of internal limiting membrane is essential as it binds the growth factor during the retinal development. But in adulthood, the role is controversial, rather, there is not yet understood. That's what the studies say. Well, is it like a vestigial organ like an appendix, which has only a nuisance value? For sure, I know that it works as a devil in these diseases, like diabetic macular edema. It is responsible for development of full thickness macular hole, epiretinal membrane, and recurrent proliferations in recurrent retinal detachments. Well, about the savior is a big question mark. There is no particular thing. Now let's understand various disease processes and how the role of internal limiting membrane moves. In retinal detachment, all the studies have shown that if you do an internal limiting membrane peel, the success rate climbs from 84% to 96, almost 97%. Importantly, in all these studies, if you go through what is the cause of redetachment in retinal detachment, almost 32% of the patient had redetachment in non-ILM peel group. And importantly, why does redetachment happen? And why is ILM peel important? ILM peel ensures completion of posterior vitreous detachment. And it is in fact more than 20% of the patients have undetached vitreous cortex as a reason for redetachment cases. This is our article published in IGO last year supporting the same hypothesis. Not only recurrence, it is also about reproliferation on the macular surface in the form of epiretinal membrane, the incidence of which is as high as 33 to 85% as per the study shown below. ILM peeling removes the substrate which is responsible for reproliferation. Then what are the disadvantages of internal limiting membrane peel? Well, my friend is going to say it will cause big terminologies: dissociated optic nerve fiber layer, electrophysiologic changes, increased inner layer thickness. Well, these are all transient. And do they have any functional consequences? He should ask himself. He would also talk about chromophore toxicity, damage to Mueller cells, paracentral retinal holes, microscotomas. But friend, all this is safe. And more importantly, it has no effect on the visual acuity, and that is all what my patient wants. You would also talk about more surgical time, chances of iatrogenic trauma, but it is a matter of skills. So work hard and acquire those skills. Expensive because of dry eyes, finesse loop. Well, is resurgery not very expensive? It's more so. And also you do not want on a post-operative review a picture like this, which will give frowns on your forehead. All these conditions will ask for second surgery. And from patient's perspective, it is one more surgery. And from surgeon's perspective, yes, I know you as a surgeon, you might look at a patient as an ATM with more financial gain, but definitely not for the patient, poor patient. So when you have a procedure which gives you double benefit of preventing epiretinal membrane proliferation and recurrent RD, why avoid it? So don't forget the basics of medicine. In PSM, we have been taught prevention is better than cure. Here I lay my case. Thank you.